Morning, everyone. It's mid-June here, and I just wanted to do a quick video to, to emphasize and kind of show people who have bird dogs what I learned last year in training my dog to track big game. I think this law is, I live in Minnesota, and the law in Minnesota is still relatively new where we can use dogs to track big game. And I know a lot of hunters like me who love to whitetail hunt, and they're also bird hunters, pheasant hunting, whatever it may be. And most pheasant hunters I know have a bird dog that they're using, but not most of the guys I know still don't have their dogs trained to track big game. And I just think it's a fantastic tool to have. It gave me such peace of mind last year knowing that I had worked with my lab Gus to get him to a point where he could track big game. And I didn't really know what to expect, honestly, after I worked with them a couple months leading up to last year's fall bow hunting season. And then he just kind of blew me away during the fall with just how naturally talented these dogs are. And they just need a little bit of prodding from us, a little bit of help, nudge in the right direction. So I was just gonna kind of take you over through this video, how I easily trained my bird dog, who was 3 years old last year when I worked with him, to learn how to track big game. The main thing is introducing them to that scent that they're gonna be on for tracking a wounded deer. And so what I did was I just went online quick, and the main thing is finding the scent and the tools that you're gonna need to do this quickly. So I went online, I just searched out, using dogs to track big game. And I came upon this company, I think it's called Dog Bone. I think they're based out of Wisconsin. So I just ordered a kit there. It's gonna come with everything I needed. So this is the tools you need, just a line to lay the track. This is the scent that I'm gonna place. It's gonna come with a deer hide. What I do is, and then the check cord is another thing that I bought separately. I had a longer rope leash that I used. Check your state regulations. Using dogs to track big game has become legal in almost every state, most states across the country. Check your state regulations because every state is going to be a little bit different, but everyone that I've looked at, these dogs, when you're doing this, need to be leashed at all times during the track. So that's important to say. So make sure you go online and look what it says in your state about tracking legally. So I got this check cord instead of the rope cord. This is going to help so you're not getting all tangled up in stuff that you're bringing the dogs through when you're tracking these animals. So basically all I did last year was Gus had the basic obedience training down like most all bird dogs do at this point when they're an older dog. The sit, heel, hear, commands, things like that. So he had all of that already done, and he had been on a lot of birds over his life, and I had just gotten him out, in a lot of pheasant hunting situations. So all I did was you get the deer. I got the deer hide. I wet it down just so it's a little more pliable. Wet the deer hide down a little bit. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna place a little bit of the scent on the hide, and that's basically it. And then I'm gonna it's got a little loop here. I'm gonna loop it up, and this is what I'm gonna lay the track with. So I'm gonna start. Very first track I did was super short. I mean, literally starting in my front yard last year with Gus. He's inside the house, so has no idea what I'm doing. And so what I did was I put the scent on this. I let him smell it. I tossed it around a little bit for him, got him excited, things like that. And then all I did was I did my first track too long, and he just was confused. And so it kind of reassured to me that I need to be shorter with this initial track. So I literally came through, pulled like this, came around, and I set it back behind like our propane tank. So I'm talking like a short 20, 30 yard track to start with. And all of a sudden, like I got him out, I got him on that little short track, and at the end was this prize for him, and he picked it up so fast. I'm talking day 2 of this, we were doing longer tracks. And so that's the key. Start short, work your way up. Read your dog and see exactly, you know, how long you can get. By the end of the summer leading into the season, I was, you know, laying tracks deep into our woods, going through the CRP and everything like that. So just getting them ready for the season. So I'm not gonna video me laying the track, but I'm gonna lay a little bit longer track here, go through the grass on the edge of our property and stuff, and I'll show you how Gus does that work. All right, so we got Gus here. So Gus was inside when I laid this track. I got the cord for him and everything. Gus works kind of fast, but you can see like he's just as excited to do this as when I put on an orange vest to go pheasant hunting. I mean, he absolutely lives for this. His enthusiasm for it is off the charts. So I'm just gonna, if I'm doing this in a deer hunting situation, I've shot the deer, I have a decent idea where the deer, you know, went into the cover or whatever it might be where I last saw it. I'm just gonna bring him to where I last saw this deer, and I'm gonna give the command for him to work. So let's take him over to where I started the track, and we'll see how he does. So heel. Heel. Come here. Sit. I'm just gonna sit him to let him know that we're about to start, and then I'm just gonna give him the command. So work. Good. Come here, bud. Come here. Good. Good boy. Come here. Get. Come on, bud. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Good. Good. Yep. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good. So then at the end, when I'm doing the tracks, I'm just gonna, you know, toss it around a little bit for him, work on just building his enthusiasm so he gets to know what this is. But that's it. I mean, it literally took me with him doing a track a night, you know, 3-4 times a week. I think I started in early July last year, so you could start this right now and, you know, just work with your dog and have him ready for this fall season. Like I said, I didn't know exactly what to expect out of him coming into the year last year. He ended up finding, I shot 4 deer last year between Minnesota and surrounding states. I took him out on 3 tracks. He found all 3 of those deer, and the 4th one was just a deer that ended up falling within 20 yards of the stand. And so it just really wasn't a point to bring him out. But once I got into the season, it was about just trying to get him on as many real tracks as possible. And I mean, first live track he went on last year, I was in North Dakota on opening weekend, shot the biggest buck of my life, and up against standing corn, and of course the deer bolted into standing corn, which, I mean, it was a good shot. I knew that deer was dead real fast and not far, but that's a nerve-wracking feeling when a deer goes into standing corn, because blood trails, they can be spotty. This isn't even about just having a dog for when you make, say, that bad shot happens and you know you need to track a deer, give it time, and if you make good shots, sometimes blood trails can be spotty. So just having a dog that's ready to go, knowing that I had that in my back pocket, was so nice. I called my wife and we got the kids together, and I went back to the camper, got Gus, brought him back, set him down right on the edge of the corn where I last saw that deer go in, and I mean, he was on that deer in no time. He took me right to him. I had to at one point stop and get the cord untangled from corn stalks. I think if I didn't have to do that, Gus would have been on that deer in about 45 seconds. Just blown away by how naturally talented these dogs are. They just need a little bit of help from us. We proceeded to the next. I shot a couple more does that season. You know, he brought me right to them. So yeah, I just think it's an easy thing to do that we can do as hunters to just try to ensure that we're finding, you know, doing everything we can to find deer. And now that this is legal, where we can use dogs to do this, it's just a really awesome tool, and it doesn't take much. You guys can do this, you know, like I said, lay a track at night 3, 4, 5 times a week if you've got time to do it. Watch your dog grow. It's just going to continue to also build that bond. I can't tell you how, like, that feeling of watching him, feeling the tug of that rope, and in that cornfield last year, knowing that there's only one reason that he wasn't tugging me anymore, and it's because he was on that deer. I remember following that rope up, getting on that deer and stuff, and he was just over the top of him, just smelling him. And that's an incredible way to build that bond. We all know what that bond is like as hunters with dogs. You know, this just adds to it and stuff when a dog leads you to that deer that you shot, and might be, you know, could be a once in a lifetime buck, could be a doe, doesn't matter and stuff. It's important that we do everything we can to find these animals. So.